Welcome to Film Fights with Friends, fans. I am Steve Kepler, your host, with
Paul Veracci, your other host.
Yeah, man. Dude, an amazing episode. Amazing episode.
Yeah, we are going through one of the coolest chases filmed.
Yeah.
In relative years.
Yeah.
And in comparison to some of the greats from the past. And
Totally.
I'm not even going to give it away.
No, but I mean, we are going to tell people that we're going to be talking about Charm City Kings.
Yes.
And we have Kevin Rogers, who is the stunt coordinator for the film, on here to break down for us this epic chase scene.
And he was, I mean, you got basically the brainchild of this chase. And what a cool story of how this chase came about to actually be filmed.
Yeah, we don't even want to tell you anything that will spoil it because it's such an amazing story about how this chase scene came to be. So we will just say that we're going to have some really cool B-roll to drop in here for you guys watching on YouTube because Kevin basically gave us everything.
Yeah, and what was really cool is actually this week I had my first I would say driving gig where I was actually kind of in a very small base grid and I was the one following the lead car. And so I had to change lanes. I had to stay underneath the camera car or speed up to the camera car.
It was pretty amazing that you had your first driving gig the week that we're doing a driving episode.
It gave me a whole lot of perspective
on
how to look at the scene completely differently. When we talk to Kevin.
I'll bet it probably informed your interview questions quite a bit. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
we can't say what you worked on yet, but hopefully we'll talk about it when that production comes out.
Very true. And also, you had an audition.
I had another audition. We'll see. The last audition we talked about on here, I nailed it. So let's hope this one goes my way too.
Yes, and hopefully this audition you will actually be the one auditioning. Because remember
I don't know what that means.
No, remember the last one? It was me and Jabari doing all the lines and doing everything.
It was all readers, and I just had to act like I was being choked.
So funny.
No, this one I actually had to deliver lines. So this was an actual audition. It's for a co-star role, so 4 or 5 lines, which should be pretty cool.
I'm like, all Steve had to do for his audition was like Tuesday in class. He just had to get choked.
That's it, man.
Jabari and I were sitting there reading all the lines and doing everything.
Dude,
that was my favorite audition I think I've ever been involved in ever.
We've done a bunch,
but that one was just so hilarious.
It's one of the fun things about the wave of now, the self-tape auditions as opposed to in-person auditions. Like those used to stress me out. Like the pre-COVID, I haven't done a in-person audition since COVID for sure, but I had done a bunch before COVID. And that was also earlier in my career. I wasn't as confident in my ability to be an actor. Not that I'm an actor, but to perform lines and stuff like that. So they were definitely stressful. Like I feel like the self-tape versions of an audition, you get to do a couple takes, see which one you like, but and there's a lot less stress of having the director or the casting director sitting right there in front of you,
Well, a lot of the advice that I've been receiving, not from people, that I've been going out there and getting, and is when it comes to the script, is just read it. Yep. Read it.
Yeah.
Inside and out, know it. And just read it because you don't know what scene you're going to shoot. They shoot out of order, right? I sent you the thing with Benicio del Toro, that great interview.
Yep.
But every actor you talk about, the one thing that they're going to say is read the script and know the script as many times as you need to.
I mean, you know what was interesting? If you remember Happy Anderson's, when we had Happy on here, and we were talking about prepping and reading the scripts, and he said sometimes he doesn't want to read the whole thing if his character isn't in the whole thing, because he wants to be he wants to know just what the character knows.
Well, I mean, when I say read the script, read your scene, know your scenes, know your lines, know every part that you're in. So maybe read your script.
Just know your shit.
Know your shit.
You're a professional. It's like that video of Tom Hanks going around on social media right now. Know your lines.
Mhm.
You're showing up for a job. Know your shit.
There was nothing worse. Even when I was working COVID, there was no more of a "you are fucking unprofessional" eye roll than when an actor showed up, didn't know their lines to a degree of where they just didn't give a fuck.
I was in a scene once where the lead of this show just like I knew all the lines. I'm saying them in my head, and he did not remember any of the lines and kept calling for his line. Oh,
that's kind of like that. I think that's disgraceful.
I don't want to be too judgy because I'm not the lead of a show and I don't have that pressure. But I was like, come on, dude. These are lines. These are easy lines.
Right.
This is not Shakespeare. This is like procedural cop show stuff.
Yeah.
We've seen a million times.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, dude, next week is the Art of Movie Making Film Festival.
Thank you for saying it.
Well, this is the last plug we're making for it before the festival, so we got to get the name right.
The Art of Movie Making Film Festival.
Yes.
I got it.
Cheers, dude. Clink your glass. You got it right. I got it right. Bing.
Nice.
Now let's take a sip and fuck it up. But I hope our listeners will come to the festival. Hopefully we'll see some awesome submissions and we'll get to meet you guys if you show up.
Yeah, and also it'd just be cool to come and check out the categories. You know, if you are a film fan and you have certain categories of film that you like, that are definitely not in the best actor category, please come and check this out because you know you will meet people who are involved in something that you're interested in. Maybe you can talk to them and maybe find your way into this wonderful world of production.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great festival. We hope to see you there. And we wouldn't have a show to tell you about the festival if we didn't have our sponsors.
Our amazing sponsors.
Stunt Contact.
Stunt Contact. So glad you're back in the fold with us.
Yes. Welcome
Not
back.
that I ever stopped using you guys, but because I mean, honestly, if I did, I wouldn't know.
Yep.
I wouldn't know anything.
Dude, Stunt Contact, the best breakdown service.
I'd be calling you. I'd be like, Steve, what's going on right now?
You do that anyway.
Shut up.
But definitely check out Stunt Contact. The link is in the show notes. If you are in the business, you're looking to see what it's just a great breakdown service. I mean, it's geared towards stunt people, but really it's good for everybody. It consolidates all the information. If you need to go in a Google search for something, don't spend an hour searching. Stunt Contact consolidates all that stuff onto one page for you before you even get there. Makes your life so much easier. It'll have links to the articles in the trades about the production. It'll have links to the producer, the line producer, casting directors, all that kind of stuff. It's all right there. Shoot dates, whether it's in pre-production, post-production, development, like whatever.
Email addresses.
For some.
For you know, the main production emails usually.
Yeah, usually that's there. For other people, you might have to do a little Google Kung Fu, you know, find stuff on your own.
For sure.
But, it's a great service. So definitely check out Stunt Contact. It is listed in the show notes. And on that note, we're just going to tell people to follow us everywhere.
Everywhere. Like, subscribe,
comment,
heart, rainbow. I don't know what
emojis
going on.
Any kind of engagement is great. And if you're on our Patreon, we thank you. If you're supporting us financially, we thank you so much. If you don't support us on our Patreon, please consider it. There's lots of great perks.
We have lots of perks and lots of tiers. We're still waiting on a $20 member. We have a really cool gift. And what's even better is that coming up, because with one of our previous guests, I actually have a collecting company with Rocco.
Yeah.
We're going to be at Terrificon and Judo, what's her name? Judo Kinner?
I don't know.
From Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Anyway.
The femme fatale. Not the Margot Kinner. Sorry.
Kidder?
Yes, Margot Kinner. Yeah.
Kidder.
Yeah. Margot Kidder. Kitt.
I don't know.
Or Kidder? I don't know.
You'll.
Whatever.
Yeah.
She's going to be there. So
Marion.
I figured I would throw.
Marion from Raiders.
Marion. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I completely didn't know her name. I was trying to get you to help, but you just didn't jump in there.
I like seeing you drown a little bit.
I know.
It's okay.
But now that you've taken your foot off my head, you dick.
Yeah.
I figured as I go around to my cons, I'm going to throw a couple of signatures on there.
Cool.
So now her signature is going to be on there. And also, who is the guy with the beard?
Sala?
He's going to be there as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, listen, we did get 3 new Patreon members this week, but free ones.
Ooh.
We have a lot of free members, and we're encouraging you to consider bumping it up. We have a $2 level where you just get advanced access.
Please do. You're going to get posters signed by people. I don't even know who the fuck they are.
Yeah. You don't need to do the $20 level. You can just choose your own adventure, but we would love your support for sure. And on that note, I think we need to bring in Kevin Rogers.
Oh, Kevin, I can't wait. I can't wait to break this scene down.
It's going to be great. All right, here we go. Dude, Kevin, thank you so much for coming on, man.
We're so happy to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's pretty cool to get to talk about something that I really enjoyed doing and feel really good about, and then talk some shop and talk what's going on out there.
Well, I'll never forget the first time I ever saw this scene. We were actually on, this is a bit of a happy reunion for Kevin and I. We worked on Wu-Tang for 2 years.
Yeah, you did 2 and 3, right?
Yeah, 2 and 3. So we were on set one day and Kevin showed me this video. He's like, "Oh, hey, I'm up for the stunt ensemble was up for a Taurus Award. Yeah, the sequence was up for a Taurus Award, and I want to make sure I get my wording right." And you showed me this video, and I was just like completely blown away.
Yeah, and for the listeners who don't know what a Taurus Award is, that's essentially was started by Red Bull. It is like the premier award event for the stunt industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like basically better than an Oscar if you're a stunt guy.
It is. It's kind of, and it's really special to our industry too. I feel like because our industry votes on it specifically. I don't think there's any outside voting that goes into it. So it really is. Yep. You're recognized by your peers for your work.
Mm-hmm.
So to get nominated for that scene, was pretty amazing.
And every time I watch that scene, I can't wait to break it down because
we just watched it again right before you got on. We just watched
literally less than 5 minutes ago. We just got done watching it. And jaw dropped. And I feel the more, it's funny, I think for any stunt person, at least in my opinion, the more you get involved and the more you learn about the industry and the more you learn about what happens behind the camera, I think the more you can watch this scene and appreciate how much went into it.
Yeah, totally. And just to remind the listeners, I know we said it in the intro, but if you haven't watched it yet, pause. We put the link in the show notes. So go watch it and then come back and listen to this so you know what the heck we're talking about. So here, this is amazing. Right off the bat, we usually read like how the scene was written. So the question is, like, you gave us a couple versions of the script, like reshoots and the original. Mm-hmm. And so in the original version of the script, the chase is basically not even there.
So this is where it gets fun. When I got the original,
just the look on, I just got to say, if you're not watching right now, just the look on his face was exactly what Steve and I were hoping we were going to get when we were asked this question.
Because I was like, so basically, like I'll watch the movie and I had the screenplay with me, and then it was just like, wait, what? It's after they zoom past the 2 cops that it's over. And there was no brick thrown through the window and all that stuff. And then I went back and looked at the reshoot scripts you gave me, and it had the description of what we saw on screen pretty much. So I'm curious about that process, like how it happened.
So when I got the original script, the very first one I read before I had an interview, before I talked to anybody, it had a 3-page car chase sequence in there. And I got done with that chase sequence and I was like, through the roof, giant smile on my face. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. So I actually went on YouTube and I do what is called YouTube research. Like I'll go on YouTube, I'll watch videos, I'll download things, I'll put it together, I'll edit it so that it fits what we're trying to do. And, and I made my own little previs. And
it's like a rip-o-matic.
I mean, it's the information's out there and it's authentic and it's pretty real. So it's like, hey, let's put it together and see what we can replicate. And then I went and I had the conversation on the phone with the producer. His name's Mark Beanstalk, and he's a Sony producer at the time. And we had a great conversation on the phone. I went down to Baltimore and I had a conversation now in front of everybody. And Angel Manuel Soto, the director's there, and Kate Arizmendi, the DP, is there. Caleb Pinkett, one of the producers, Clarence Hammond, one of the producers, and we're all just talking shop. And I'm like, hey, you know, there's this chase scene here. I put a little previs together. And they're like, oh, let's see it. So I show my little previs, and Angel's eyes are like this big at the end of it. And Mark's at the table like, I think we need to figure out what movie we're making here before we commit to anything. And I could just tell at that point that Mark was politely saying, pump the brakes, man. This is, you know,
oh no,
I don't know what we're doing here. So the second or third revision came out of the script, and it literally ends where the Sunday ride, Chino and Queen get on their bikes. They throw the brick through the window. They get on their bikes. They wheelie past the cops, and that's it. The end of the scene.
Yeah, it says like the cops realize they can't catch them or whatever, and then it's over.
And then let them go.
And in Baltimore, just so you know, to put it out there is a no chase policy, right?
Yes.
So
yes,
there's a lot of dirt bikes down there, and the cops are technically not allowed to chase them because it causes more injury or more damage if they're chased than if they just let them go. So.
And just to put a pause for 1 second, we also linked in the show notes the original New York Times documentary that this was based on. So people should watch that, and they'll get a little snapshot of the actual community that this was all based on.
Yeah, and we could talk about the community.
What was it called? The 12 O'Clock Boys?
And it's Biker Boy Pug, who was actually there with us on set. So it was pretty neat. It was pretty authentic.
That's cool. So it ended there after they zoom off. And then where are you now with that?
So we finished. We complete filming. There was one day that we lost half a day because they decided they needed to do an emergency gas line repair in the street. So there was a feeling that we were going to come back to at least get that piece. And that piece was when Mouse crashes his quad at the Sunday ride and goes flying over the handlebars.
Oh, dude, we'll talk about that today too. That was pretty awesome.
So, you know, you never know what's going to happen. Film wraps, and then you don't know. And then I get a phone call probably in maybe February so we filmed in 2018. I want to say it was September through November, right around Thanksgiving. I got a phone call in probably February of 2019 about, hey, we're going to come back and we're going to, you know, reshoot that scene with Mouse, and we're going to add it. You know, we got this chase sequence that we're going to do now. And I'm like, okay, great.
I know you're like,
and on top of it, you know, it's like, yes, thank you for asking me back, because you never know, like maybe they saw something at the studio and like, this is epic. Let's get a really big stunt coordinator to do it. You know, we know Kevin did fine over here, but let's get, you know, someone with a big name or, you know, a big resume. And I know that whether it helped or not, our safety guy from Sony, his name was Javier Huzier. He was like, hey, Kevin really did a good job with those bike riders as he's coming back. So I don't know if that made a difference or not, but thanks, Javier, if it did.
So was this sort of the biggest production you had coordinated at that time in your timeline?
So this was
your personal
timeline? This was the first thing I did on my own. Up until this point, I had, you know, like the way that the business kind of progresses is you get your opportunities as a stunt guy, prove yourself, work yourself, you know, build your relationships, and then eventually those coordinators that you have relationships with are like, hey, I need a tech scout covered. I need a meeting covered. I need, you know, I need you to be on set and cover me on set this day. So really I had been doing that for a while, since I would say the Mysteries of Laura.
Right.
And Pete Boccosi would give me a call for, you know, to help cover, and Manny Severio would give me a call like, hey, cover this. Do you want to cover that? Do you want to do this? I'm like, great, that'd be awesome. And if we get to my actual story, there's a lot about Manny and Pete in there, but,
well, I know Manny's in the credits as doing stunts in the movie.
Manny's the best.
If you see the cop that they wheelie past at the car, that is Manny Severio.
Oh, nice. Nice.
But yeah, so, and to back up even further, the reason I got the first phone call for this movie is because Mark Beanstalk and Manny had worked on M. Night Shyamalan films together. Manny got the first call and he referred me for the film. So it's definitely a big thank you to Manny that, you know, I even got a call for this film.
It seems like your skill set is like perfectly matched, though.
It's amazing how it worked out that way, you know, and it feels like if it was some other film that I did and it wasn't the right match, it might not have worked out as well, but it feels like everything kind of just fell into place the right way. Like it was pretty cool. Yeah. So you get called back for these reshoots, and then that explains it, why the script was one way, and then the reshoot scripts you sent me had all this new stuff. I'm like, wow, they really added a ton on these reshoots. And it was cool. They were like, Kev, we want you to come down. I think it was about 2 weeks early, and we want you to prep the whole thing with us. And, I really felt like I was a huge part of it. And it was probably one of the most collaborative efforts I've ever been a part of, and the script just says the riders go down an alley, they pop out, and they go for, look for freedom. But every single person in the room, and there's a picture that I sent you guys that Angel posted, and it's like the only war room that matters. And we're standing around a circular table, and everyone's kind of throwing out their ideas of what they think should happen and how it should be and how we can keep it authentic and honor like the Baltimore bike culture. And it was so much fun to put it together that way. And so what we would do every day, and I think we did it for 3 or 4 days, we'd get in a van in the morning, we'd go to the street, and we'd talk about what we could do on the street. Then we'd come back to the production office, and we'd all gather around this circular table. And at this point, Shelley Johnson came in for the reshoots as the director of photography. And if you look him up, he is a master DP. Like, he's done Captain America. He did, he's done so many big films. He was the president of the ASC also, but one of my favorite people that I've ever worked with. And we just go around the table, like, Angel would be like, I really want them to go through an alley. I want the parallel with the cop car as they go down the alley. And then they pop out of the alley and go down the street and they get chased. And I'm like, all right, cool. So they come around the corner, and I'm like, I'm using the cars on the map. Like, this is, where we could position cars, and we could have two-way traffic here, and they could weave in and out. And then our cop comes from the other direction and does a 180 and goes parallel up this street. And, and Shelley's just soaking it all in and writing his notes. And Caleb Pinkett, his whole family is from Baltimore. So to him also very important that it was authentic to Baltimore, and we didn't get off the rails and go in a different direction. So he would give his input, and, Mark would give his input, and, everyone would give their input. And at the end of that meeting about that one section of the chase, Shelley would go, give me 2 hours. And we'd all go to lunch, and in 2 hours we'd meet back at the table. And Shelley would give us a diagram and a how we're going to shoot it list on the bottom. I think I sent this to you.
Yeah, you did. I was going to ask about when.
It was so cool to see everything that we had all just talked about. And Shelley put it into words and into pictures. And it was like, okay, it's achievable. Like, we can do this. That's how we can do it.
So the diagrams, are those the satellite imagery type ones that because you sent us a few. You sent us the map with the Matchbox cars.
We're gonna put these in the show notes, right?
Well, these are all going to be dropped in over this conversation.
Can we do that? Well, because
that would be something like that. And then these are all Shelley's, camera directions. It was incredible. Yeah. And we had this great meeting, and then Brian Moon, who was the first AD there, he would take the notes and he'd come up with a timeline and how we're going to shoot it order. And it was so collaborative. And that was what was so much fun about it, is everyone took the time.
We have that right here, right on the table. Here's the shot list.
Everybody took the time.
It's massive. Yeah.
That's a lot of shots.
Yeah, totally.
So go ahead.
It was 4 days. You said about 4 days.
Well, I have a question.
It was 4 days
before you get into that. So you get the call. You've got to do the reshoots. How do you figure who the fuck you're going to call to do this? Who's your team? Like, this is crazy. So you're like, okay, where did they come from?
All right. So Chino and Queen, who are the two people on the dirt bikes down there, are from Baltimore. They were cast. They were number 7 and number 8. They were cast for their riding ability, and, they had a little bit of acting to do. But once I got to know them and see their ability and their skill level, it was just about, hey, are these people, are they going to listen to me, or are they going to just do whatever they want? And once we developed a good relationship, I knew that, Chino and Queen are going to listen. They're going to do a great job. And now,
and for those watching, Chino played Jamal and Queen played Queen. So that's
Lakira Doherty is her name. But
they were awesome.
She goes by the bike name Wheelie Queen. But then for me, putting people in cars is probably the easiest part. So I have been a member,
because everybody.
Yeah, well, I've been a member of Drivers East since I was 20.
That's why I'm wearing the shirt, dude.
21 years old. So. Since 2006 is when I started there, and I was asked to help out and started changing tires and putting cones down, and our team grew kind of organically, and, we added pieces, and, so it's like, hey, who's the angry white cop in the lead car? I'm like, well, that's Mike Burke, of course. And then, in the second car, Jay Lynch had been working with me down there. Jay Lynch is one of my best friends in the business. And I'm like, of course, Jay's going in that car. And then, the guy that got me into the business and helped me, along the way, Roy. Farfel. So
I love
he's the
Roy.
third cop. So it was not a difficult choice to put people in cars. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And then Greg Harvey's driving one of the ND cars, and I put him in a lot of the tighter spots where, coming out of the intersection, or when they come out of the alley, when the cop car does the 180 up to it, that's all Greg. Kyle Brown's in there. Charlie Bricato's down there. Robbie Smith was, driving the follow van that, followed our e-bike. Owen Holland came down with the edge arm, which was amazing. I've worked with Owen my whole career, so just to have him there was super comforting, because even if I'm not thinking of a shot or thinking of a way to set it up, Owen just has all of this experience where he's like, hey, why don't we do it like this, Kev? Let's try it like that, Kev. Or he'll work with the director, because the director's in the car. I'm not in the car. He'll work with the director to help him understand what he's trying to get. And then I had the e-bike from Covert Camera Vehicles, so Regis Harrington's company, and Alistair Witten rode the bike for me. Like, all these people, like, your whole career, you're building all these relationships, and when it's your opportunity, when it's your chance, like, exactly who you're going to.
It's like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were just watching the chase before we got on here, we were literally just saying, like, with Jamal and Queen, like, those aren't cheated. Like, that's them that's 100%. Them on the bikes.
Yeah. And so you mentioned that we prepped for about 4 days. We shot this in 1 day.
Oh, wow.
So
wow.
What I'm probably most proud of this whole sequence, is the beginning where they wheelie past the cop. That was in, regular production. The end where they're going down the road after the cop, stops, and they're going down the road and they're dancing as they're doing wheelies. That's
when the
and the crane is above
and the
them?
camera car is going around them.
Oh, yeah. That's so
they were
awesome.
doing like synchronized wheelies down the street.
And like the little can off the bike.
Those two parts are the only two parts we filmed during regular production. Everything else was in 1 day.
Wow.
That's what I
insane.
mean. It's just like the preparation and the execution was so incredible all around that we were able to film all that in 1 day.
That's amazing, dude.
Wow. That is amazing.
That's almost like, I mean, for you,
I'm going through it, and I'm just it's kind of hard to actually even fathom that you did that all in 1 day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cuts. That's a lot of shots.
That says a lot for the collaboration you're talking about.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You guys, when he says collaboration, it must have just been like a silk shirt.
So you guys, was the Taurus nomination a complete surprise to you? Or did you know somebody put you up? Because I know anybody can put up anybody for the Taurus. You don't even have to be a member.
Yeah, to get a Taurus Award, it's nomination by anybody, like you said.
Sure.
And I wanted to honor the guys in the cars and on the bikes. So I submitted them for the,
that's
to
awesome.
the nominating committee. And, that at that point, it's up to them, like,
Sure.
But it was really cool because we got nominated against two chases from the Bad Boys film, which, I know they put a lot of time and rehearsal and money into. Another one from Birds of Prey and another one from Extraction. So I'm like, we're this little film.
So I just want to get this straight. They put a lot of time and money and rehearsal into Michael Bay stuff.
Yeah. But so you were saying this little film is competing with them. Yeah, that was awesome. What do you consider a little film? This doesn't seem too little to me.
I was gonna say, like, little is a.
We don't know the budget and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, this was the production value of everything in the end quality was not that of a little production in any way, shape, or form.
So I think we can all agree, like, there's different feelings when you're on a film set, right? There's like the feeling like I'm working on low budget, we'd have like barely any money. Then there's like the next place where you're like, it's low budget, but we have some money. Then there's like, all right, I'm on a feature, but it still feels kind of independent. We have some studio backing. We got to be wise with our money. We don't have all of it. And then there's like, we have so much money that we can afford to be wasteful. So we were in that, we have enough money and studio backing, but we have to be wise with it kind of place. It wasn't like we could have everything we wanted, but we had all the toys we needed, the camera toys.
And you know what's so cool to hear is like with you talking about the collaboration and how involved you were with the creative aspects of this, you know, like, because we've talked to a lot of people who are on films don't feel that sense of collaboration, and you know, especially
one department's getting it done, another department's getting done, and another department's getting it done, but they're not really fucking working together.
Yeah, or they're just being told what to do. You know, like, hey, here's an animatic that we came up with, and you guys just replicate it, and you know, there's no creative stuff. Sounds like you guys really were given the freedom to build this.
Yeah, and I think, you know, there's an interview with Angel at Sundance where he talks about him, you know, when it came to this big action sequence, wanting and kind of leaning on Shelley and myself a little bit to make sure it went as well as it did. Because for him, it was, you know, his first step into a big action sequence. So he was open and willing to collaborate. I think that helps a lot too. And like I mentioned, we didn't have a huge studio budget, so it wasn't so rigid where everything had to be exactly to the studio spec. It was like there was the independent ability to still be creative and to still, you know, work together to come up with this really cool idea. And like as a coordinator on, you know, whatever I do, it's the most fun part is to collaborate with all the different people, with all the different departments, with the DP, with the camera operators, with the director, with the producers to come, and the writers too, to come up with something that is awesome. It's safe and it makes people go, that was great. And if one person wants to spearhead it, then you're not getting all the ideas from everyone else that could make it great.
Kind of like putting your ego above the scene.
A little bit. And from what I've seen and found, it's like some people, it's the power they want, you know, it's the creative power. They're like, this is my way and this is the way it's going to be. Sometimes people are a little insecure, like they're afraid other people are going to think as highly of them or whatever. I don't know the reason that someone wouldn't want to be collaborative in our field. It's because it's the biggest collaborative art form there is. That's what makes it fun.
100%.
I feel if we just decided to do research, I feel like any great action scene, this has to be the core foundation of is good collaboration, because when I watch this scene, it's the editing, the way it goes back and forth from the drivers to the number ones to the cops and everything else. It keeps you involved with everybody in there and gives you oohs, ahs, and oh shits. In that of like, for me, there's a lot of chases, but this one brought me back to Ronin. It really had me on the edge of my seat, like that chase, you know, kind of in the traffic. That was, and I don't know if you kind of took a little bit from that, but that was one of the greatest car chases ever. And for, you know, just to watch this and just been like, wow, this is, if you put guns in your hands, then I'm like, oh, wow, this is a total other movie. And then it brings it, you know, but there's no way that you can get that without everybody working so well together, you know, from your editors to the guys who are shooting it to, you know, because how many times do you see something where you're on set and you see this beautiful choreography and all of this, and then it comes out on TV and you're like, what the fuck did that editor do? Did he not listen to anybody? Was he not on set? Did he not read the script? Was he not in any of the meetings? And then when, you know, but when you see something like this and you're just like, everybody has to be on the same page. And then this is what you get.
Yeah. And, you know, there's certain days when you're on set and they feel special. Like, you know, it's what you did on set that day was special. And then you kind of leave it and you hope that when it hits the editing room, it's special there too. And that when it hits, you know, the music, it's special. And everything came together so well for this whole sequence. And again, Angel's vision, and I know Angel was in the editing room, and he really, kept it going in the direction that he wanted to keep it still rooted in the reality of Baltimore and of the culture there. But we spiced it up just a little bit with the car stuff.
Just a bit, but it does feel like if the listeners go back and watch that documentary of the footage that all the kids in the 12 o'clock gang shot themselves, it feels just like that. I mean, it's very, very similar. It really captured that.
I didn't even think about that until you just mentioned it. But yes, actually, the documentary is very, very similar to the scene.
Well,
like in the way that they ride and the whole culture. Like, yeah, it was captured very well.
And that was, I mean, from day one, that was Angel wanting to just really be authentic to Baltimore and to the bike culture there.
Yeah.
What I also appreciated, and that anybody who watches the scene, is that you are also watching with smiles and a sense of enjoyment and kind of feeling that excitement that they're probably feeling while they're doing this. And it's sometimes, they will portray that in a malicious way, but this was done in a very, even though there were police involved and they were chasing them, it was done in a very jovial way and not with any malice intent. And it's just a very, very well, again, very well collaborated scene to just put forth such a great feeling and just such great shots together.
The casting was amazing. Like the kid who played Mouse, Yahi, how does he pronounce Jahi? That kid has such charisma. Holy cow. That kid, he has 100% charisma.
So just to go a little bit off of the chase, the first night I was there was when Mouse and his mother are arguing in Mouse's room, and Mouse's mother slaps him. And I saw the two of them act, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, the stunts better not be the weak part here. Because Jahi, and I'm blanking a little bit right now on his mom, who is a fabulous actress.
That's Tiona Paris.
They went off in that scene. And I was like, oh no, I better not be the weak link here. And I think that's always in the back of your head, no matter what you do, is like, don't let my department be the weak link. Like, let some other department be the weak link. Let's be the one that at least, if we're not the best, let's be right there with everybody else. But I saw that and I was like, okay, we got some actors here.
You've got that. And then also to double on it, the nerves of this being your first solo. And not only your first solo, your first now solo callback.
Yeah.
Right. Tiona Paris, that the scene with those two later in the movie, after he quits his job at the veterinary office, and she has that, like, don't give up on your dreams, that whole section was heartbreaking. It was so real, dude. So real. It was amazing. Those two everybody in that, even the three guys, like Swear to God and Lamont and Mouse, their chemistry together, it was like kind of like a little, it was just so natural. It was like almost like the Goonies, kind of like they just played off each other so well.
Yeah, and the three kids, man, they were so much fun to work with, and they were just, great kids in general, but great actors, great kids. And it's interesting to watch kids have to work, because when an actor goes to work, like an adult actor, they do their part and then they get to go relax and rest in a trailer. For kid actors, man, it is brutal. They go on set, they work for however long the scene is, and then back into school. There's no time for them to rest or relax. The first AD, and our first AD during regular shooting, his name was Rob Burgess, wonderful guy, great AD. He had to build the schedule around how much time we could have kids on set, and then when we would need to have them in school, and get the clock running on school, and get them turned around for, so they don't pumpkin law out. And there was
a lot of that on Wu-Tang,
and
too.
It's so much more difficult for both the kids, man, because they don't get a break. And for the AD staff, because they're always, watching the clock.
They were. So speaking of,
and acting is work. They're learning. They're learning, and then when they're done learning, they're fucking learning more.
I mean, how much fun though? Like if you're Mouse, like the rig that you guys set up to cheat him doing the wheelie on the quad.
That was cool.
Where you're dragging him along. That must have been so much fun.
Yeah.
Dude. Like he must have had a blast.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. What do you call that little box car with the 4 wheels that looks like the Flintstones are running it with the little, and just running their feet on the bottom of it?
Box car with 4 wheels.
It's just like
the camera guy was on.
The camera guy was on. It's just looks like a small square steel box with wheels that's got a small little.
The e-car.
Wheel. What do you actually?
Oh, maybe that's it.
Is that what it is?
So it's an electric camera car. It looks like an erector set car. It's got a bunch of different holes on it for mounts. But yeah, it's an e-car. You know, Action Camera Cars.
That's
I think
cool.
You know, was our e-car provider down there. So yeah,
cool.
So let's talk about. You brought it up before, but I actually have the little diagram here of the quad stunt. I'll hold it up to the camera, but we can drop it in and post.
So, and then I'll just say one more thing about our chase sequence before we pop off there, because Paul, you brought this up about the Ronin thing and feeling like you're in it. So the first time I watched the chase, it was at Sundance, and when you see it in a theater and it's big on the screen, you were like, I am in the middle of this car chase. And I actually called Shelly after I saw it, and I go, Shelly, what the heck did you do to make me feel like I was in the middle of this chase? Because it was.
You felt like you were in the alley.
It was so phenomenal how he put you right in the middle of it. And he told me, I'm not going to give away too many secrets, but that was all, all DP work and him. Shelly's a car guy also. Like he goes to the track. He loves cars. So it's just him understanding where he wanted to put the viewer, in my opinion.
It was very like Call of Duty cutscene.
Yeah.
You know, because it's all first person in Call of Duty. So the cutscenes are you seeing everything go by. And that's like, it brought me in like that.
Yeah, like the moments where the bikes are going down the alley, you kind of feel like you were walking down the alley and then all of a sudden, like right past you, you know? It was very cool.
Yeah, we also had Beverly Hills aerials there for drone shots, and they were using FPV racing drones. I think we might have been one of the first films to use the FPV drones. So there's a lot of really cool drone footage on our show, like in our chase sequence there, that you can pick out different pieces of.
So I was wondering where you guys got the camera, when the camera's in front of the bikes zipping down the alley, or that had to be was that a drone?
No,
moment,
that's e-bike.
I was going to say, was that the e-bike? Yeah.
And that's Alistair on that one. So,
that's awesome.
The way that they...
Oh, not the e-car, but an e-bike.
Yeah. So the way that they built the shooting schedule was that we had 4 different camera bodies that we could put in different places. We had one that would always stay on the edge arm. We had one that could rotate from front to back on the e-bike. We had one that would be on sticks or handheld, and we had the drones. So we would just keep moving them around and swapping them and just keep running sections of this chase. So I think we broke it down into 3 sections, and we would just keep running it and running it and running it and running it until we knew we had everything we needed. And then we'd move to the next section.
How short did you need to keep these sequences to where I'm assuming that the longer a sequence goes, the more risk?
Or I guess
maybe that may, or is it the shorter, the more risk? Because, I guess
I would just tap onto that. Angel, is he we got it, let's move on kind of director, or is he let's do it again kind of director?
I think everyone for this knew when we got it. Angel was definitely, there were times where he was like, we got it, let's move on. And there was other times where we would spend a lot of time on it. And I think it was just, if he was looking for something specific and he wasn't getting it, or if he got it right away and he knew it, he would move on.
Cool.
So when you cut and you edit, I mean, it looked like they were going really fucking fast. How fast were they going?
So,
or do you not want to spoil? Do you not want to spoil movie magic?
No, because it was authentic. The speed, it was real. They didn't have to ramp anything up.
Holy shit!
For most of it, and I'll start with the first question: how far or how long can you go? And it really depends on how much you can lock up at one time. If you have enough PAs and you have enough traffic police to really lock down an area that's a large area, then you can have longer takes. And then it just depends on your manpower and kind of what you have there as to how long or how narrow or how short everything is. For us, we had a certain map area based on we couldn't go past a certain road. So what we did is we had, say, these 3 blocks and the next 4 blocks but we couldn't go to the 5th block. That was like, we can't shut that road down. I'm sorry. If we had 10 blocks total, that's, you know, kind of our street range, or 8 blocks total, whatever it was. And then what the art department helped us out to do, because Angel wanted to make it look longer. And, you know, like I said, everyone collaborated. The art department was like, hey, we can build you a construction zone in this shot, and then we'll move it further down in the next shot. So now it looks like it's a longer run, and we give the illusion that it's longer. So again, everyone, you know, giving their input and collaborating and making it really fun. And
That's
then
awesome.
What was the next question? Oh, the speed.
Oh no, we were going to go into the speed. You said it was actual.
So the speed was actual. The guys on the motorcycles, they're riding, so they're used to riding pretty fast. There was times where the e-bike rider was like, Kev, can you ask them to slow down a little bit? I'm going 55 and I can't keep up. So, you know, the cop driver's like, Kev, they're doing about 70. Can you pull them back in? So the speed was authentic. It was raw. It was real. And I think that is what hurts us a little bit in New York City. For those who don't know, we have speed regulations. It's really difficult to film car sequences, you know, at all. And logistically, it's difficult. But the fact that we're, you know, professionals at what we do, but then we're limited to what we can do here. A lot of the car chase sequences go to other cities because of that.
Didn't that all start? Wasn't there was a big accident in Times Square during
Sorcerer's
a
Apprentice
film shoot? I think that there you go. Yeah. Kind of the city dialed stuff in after that.
And then they're like, you can't go over 25 miles an hour. And what we had to do is become friends with TCD officers. You'd come to set that day, you'd shake hands and be like, hey, how you doing? You know, it's good to see you again. And they're like, oh, hey, you know, I remember you from this show. Like, great. And they're like, hey, can we go a little faster today? And they're like, yeah, we know who you are. So we tried to do our best as stunt drivers to work around it, but it's still, you know, just logistically, New York's not an easy place to film.
Yeah. Collaboration.
Yes.
Again, collaboration with everybody.
Well, I also, I don't know. I mean, I also just feel like in New York, they just loving to shut you down and put you in handcuffs.
Yes.
Well, there's we love our NYPD film unit guys, but there's also, like, you know, whatever. We all have our jobs. We'll just say that. But yeah, let's transition to that quad stunt. That was pretty awesome. And you sent us some great video of you guys testing it. Basically, like it's like a dead man on a quad, basically, with it.
So in the script, they're like, Mouse, you know, he's trying to show off. He's not ready for the Sunday ride yet. And he gets on his quad, and it's this little baby quad. It doesn't have the motor that it needs. He gets it up into a wheelie, and he rides it down the street, and he gets the intersection, and it goes bad, and he goes flying over the bars. The gist of what they were hoping for. During regular filming, in my head, I'm like, okay, we'll get this quad. We'll just have him stand on the back. He'll just ride a wheelie in, and, you know, and we'll have him, you know, kind of fall and go over it. And Mouse's double for filming, his name was Khalil Sparks.
Is he the guy in the videos you sent us?
That's Tristan Duverglass.
Oh, okay, that's Tristan. I just want to make sure, because we give them credit in the.
So Khalil Sparks is a great rider from Brooklyn. Looked like a kid like Mouse. He could double him, and he rode phenomenal. But the crash is a whole different situation from riding. And if you're not used to crashing on purpose, it's a little it screws with your head a little bit. So we went for
like you got guys like you that came from racing. Like, you spend your whole careers trying not to crash, right? And now it's like, oh no, you have to crash.
I was a gymnast before I raced, so I was.
Oh yeah, so
I
you
always
felt
joke around that gymnastics taught me how to roll, and racing taught me how to crash and roll.
There you go. That's cool.
But yeah, so when we had the opportunity to go back and to reshoot because we lost the day for insurance, it was a blessing, because I got to really put time into thinking about how I was going to do it, and, you know, what I wanted to do. So. Exactly what you said. It was a dead man. We rigged off to a lull. I built a little bit of a suspension system into it, so it wasn't going to just dead stop and our guy was going to launch into the handlebars, but it was going to have a little bit of give for him. And then I brought Tristan Duverglass down there, who's a collegiate gymnast. He's awesome, and I taught him how to ride a quad that day. During rehearsals.
That's awesome.
Like, I know you can do this, but here's how we're going to ride this. And it, super easy quad to ride. It's automatic. You just got to get on it and get comfortable. The other thing we did that was helpful is Nikki and Devin from KFX built me all of my rigs for down there. So we got together and we came up with, ideas and plans. And I'm like, hey guys, I need a quad that I can put into a wheelie position that'll match another quad that'll have a bar on the back, that can wheelie down the road. So it's really neat. So they built me on the back of one quad, like a step with a wheel. So the quad would stay in a wheelie and it would be, weighted. And then another one where there was a tow bar, which we attached to like a utility quad ahead of it. And we could adjust the height of the wheelie on the quad and it would just stay locked there. And that's the one that Mouse rode into the scene, which makes you believe Mouse is the one on the quad. So we have Tristan on the quad with the wheelie bar on the back. We have it dead man. He comes in and he launches, onto some 8-inchers. And then we cut it together with him, just kind of propelling himself to the ground and launching on the ground and rolling the quad through the frame. And then in visual effects, they took out the wheelie bar and our dead man line. And that's how it all came together. But that one, I was really happy with the way it came out because of the not so successful version of it we had during regular filming. And then having the opportunity to come back and really hit a home run with it was great.
Yeah, I was watching the video you sent us with my wife. I always says, "Oh, check this out!" And then she saw the one where Tristan went over the handlebars and like landed on his feet. He did like a full flip. Boom! She's like, "He just landed on his feet." I'm like, "He's so talented, man."
It's scary because when you think about it, you want to have a professional do that because when it comes to the handlebars, if your wrists go under the handlebars, your chest eats the bike. So even though it's a dead man, if you don't know how to fall, that, a tug like that, if your wrists go under the handlebars, then your whole chest goes right into I guess, what would that be?
Yeah, the bigger kind of deal is actually your knees and your thighs. So anytime that you I've crashed a lot of motorcycles, I've T-boned cars and stuff like that. But anytime that the bike comes to a sudden stop, right, and you're on it, you're going to keep going.
Right. Like when you jump through a window.
Exactly.
And your legs.
So the main thing is you need to make sure your legs clear the handlebars so you keep going. Because if they don't, then you're going to go wham. And it is going to burn like hell or it's going to blow your knees apart.
It was like when Doc told us that story when he would try to go out the window and he didn't lift his legs.
He caught his knees on
he on the window ledge.
Yeah.
And
Dude, crazy. And there was a little fight in the movie too, where the Derek, the guy that stole the bike, they beat him
Danielle,
up.
Right?
Was that all that? Well, tell us a little bit that scuffle. That was a pretty cool little. I mean, that sold when the kid picked up the rock and just like slammed Derek in the face with it.
So
I was like, oh my god, that was
beautiful. I'll go back a tiny bit because this is a really cool story. The guy that played Derek was actually one of our security guys that was just working with us as a local security guy. They cast an actor who was a good actor and he lied and said he was a good rider. So the producers go, hey, take this kid over to the school and just have him ride around and make sure you can sign off on him. And I went back to the producers and I was like, hey, we got a problem. This guy has maybe ridden a dirt bike once in his life and it was his cousin's 65 and you're trying to put him on a 450. I was like, that is no bueno. And the producers were like, all right. And then Caleb was like, hey, why don't we see about Marvin? If Marvin wants to, play this role, he could be the rider and whatnot. And we'll get him some acting lessons. So
that's Marvin Rahim. Everybody should look him up. He's awesome.
Marvin, and I have a picture of this. It's an epic picture. And the three producers call him over and they go, hey, look, we know, you don't have any acting, background, but we want you to play this role. And we're going to, get you in touch with Louis Stansel, who was the acting coach there. And we're going to make sure that you're up to speed. So he went from just being a guy that was hanging out around set to getting asked to do a security job to getting thrown into an acting role in the course of like 3 days.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
And the first day of his acting career ever was the day that he stole the motorcycle from Mouse while they're under the bridge. And he worked his way through that. But by the time we got to that fight, he had been doing enough acting lessons with Louis that he actually was really good at it. So then to get to the fight's written in the story that, they're in this thing, Lamont hits him in the face, and then they have, a fight. And I don't remember the exact way it was written, but we were working one night and we're on a street, and at night, West Baltimore is not a place you really want to be. We had really good security down there. They looked out for us, but the people that were down there didn't really want us there sometimes. And there was a guy that was pretty much like, get off my sidewalk, leave me alone. I'm going to let my dog out on you. I'm packing in here. If you don't leave, I'm coming out, this and that, blah, blah. So we're all ready to leave. We're wrapped up for the night. We're done. And our security team, I don't know if the guy came out on his own or if they invited him out, but they beat his butt. And I watched it, and I'm like, oh, I know how I'm going to build this fight for this film now, because it was the exact fight that I watched the security guy do to this other guy. It started with a punch to the face. Buddy. He went down on all fours. It was a kick to the face, got him down to his side, and, a couple kicks in the gut. And the only thing we had to alter is because it didn't look, or I shouldn't say it didn't look, the producers and Angel didn't think it would be believable enough that a young, small kid would be able to just punch this guy and knock him to his knees. That's where the brick came into play.
Right. Oh,
but
cool. that was such a great scene. I mean, even leading up, I feel like just in the movie as a whole, without the fight, I thought it was just so great because just for the story, like, so Blacks, they all come in, and then Blacks scares the guy, and then decides they're not going to do anything. And it's really because I think, right, my takeaway anyway was Blacks was trying to provide a good impression to Mouse. Like you don't have to get violent here. And then, Queen and them, they were like, what? You're just going to let him get away with it? And then it was Lamont, yep. Right? It was Lamont who picks up the rock. Is like, no, boom. And that kind of sends him down the road of kind of like the bad road with those guys.
I think one of the things that the story wanted to tell you is that you can choose to go down either road. It's a lot easier to get caught up going down the wrong road, but you can still choose to go down the right road. But when you're in that community, the wrong road is an easier one to find, to go down, to idolize the people that are on that wrong street. So I think that was one of the things that it really, and Angel wanted to kind of really talk about with disenfranchised communities, is that it's so easy to go down the wrong path there because there's so many opportunities to do it, but you can still find the right path.
I mean, and so the movie was nominated for the jury prize at Sundance, which is amazing. And it did win the U.S. Dramatic
Ensemble, I believe.
Jury prize.
Yeah.
Ensemble, at Sundance, which is also pretty amazing. I mean, it must have been amazing for the people involved. I mean, the non-actors involved in this, getting all this acclaim and just kind of being seen, telling their story.
I went to Sundance, amazing. So I, not by an invite, I called up Shay. Shay's Caleb's assistant. I was like, Shay, I want to come. Can you get me a ticket? And she's like, yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. So I got myself I flew myself out there, and I told Pete Epstein I was coming out. He's like, stay at my house, dude. I'm like, all right, cool. So I stayed at Pete Epstein's house for a couple nights, and
oh, nice.
I went to the festival, and I'd never been there, so it was like, cool. Something I did is going to be here. And it was a really
that is pretty.
It was a really
amazing.
Fun experience. Like I just went there for that film. I didn't see any others, but you're in the room, and one of the coolest things is after the chase, the whole audience in the theater was cheering, and I'm like, oh, that was cool. We did something cool. So, and then you hear the panel, and they're talking about how things went down, and it was really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you got? What do you got coming up? Anything that you can share with us?
So the timing of this episode is great. On October 12th, Elsbeth season 3 will premiere.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
perfect timing.
Oh, that's right.
CBS show.
I know. It's in my my mental Rolodex. Oh yes, Elsbeth comes out. But
so and it's a super fun little show. We always have a murder every episode, so it's not the stunt heaviest show that there is, but
right.
It is without a doubt one of the most fun shows. Just great cast, great crew. Everybody is genuinely talented at their job and happy to be there and collaborative. And it's a phenomenal work environment.
And Paul, you were saying it's like a lot of the same as the Wu-Tang people.
I was going to say, if you're, if you've got Gail, if you have Mother Gail, and she brings the same crew with everybody, I was like, so I'm sure he's working with the Wu-Tang crew.
So there's some familiar faces.
Those who haven't retired yet.
Yeah, there's some familiar faces. There's some other faces that are in the mix there too, because there was a little bit of things like Gail and Lori, started a show and then they left to start Elsbeth, and some people left and came with them, and other people stayed at the other show. So, but I am so fortunate to work with just such absolutely great people. Gail and Lori are phenomenal producers to work with.
That's very cool. I've never watched a single episode of Elsbeth. I have literally no idea what it's about.
I have not watched Elsbeth yet either.
Yeah. So
you
want to get what's the basic? Is it based on the? I mean, the only Elsbeth name I know is like the old time serial killer, right? Isn't there a female serial killer?
So the story of Elsbeth goes: Robert and Michelle King during COVID were watching a lot of Columbo, the old detective show.
Right. Just one more thing,
and they were like, "Hey, it'd be fun to make a Columbo show." And they're like, "Well, we got this character Elsbeth from The Good Wife and The Good Fight. We could just make a show around her." So they came up with Elsbeth. And then we have an awesome showrunner, John Tollins, who, him in the writer's room, they write fun scripts. And we get a unique, really fun guest star every episode. So
that's cool.
Every episode, the guest star is the murderer, and it's a different one in every episode. So I've gotten to work with some really fun and interesting people so far.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like a kind of a cool throwback type
Very
show.
much so.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's like the shows I grew up on.
Kind of like Only Murders.
Very similar, probably.
That's cool, man. Dude, it was so great to have you on. This was amazing.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We always we didn't have too much stuff to put on the table. We always try to make it unique to the guest. But we did have this. I'll hold up the camera for you. An original.
Oh, Cannonball Run.
Yeah, the original Matchbox cars.
That's awesome.
This is the closest thing we had to car chase theme to put on.
That's right. Awesome. And I was also going to say, I did my first driving job for Pope last week. Yeah, that's cool. It's very, very, very simple, but I was just like, the entire time I was thinking the enormity of, because we were coming into this show and all the stuff you were sending me. So as I'm doing it and I'm just like changing lanes and I'm like, holy shit, the amount of fucking crap he must have had. I was just like, my brain was scrambling trying to think of all of the stuff that you had to think about. Just going through one into 8 cars and one car changing lane and following.
Yeah, it's interesting. Everyone, and I guess whatever your specialty is in stunts is what you kind of put the most emphasis behind, or you think is the most important, right? Like, and everything is important. Things can go wrong everywhere, and you're always trying to, but for me, I guess I hold driving and motorcycle work at a certain, level of esteem.
Yeah.
But when you think about driving, if something goes wrong, it's not going to be small, so you really want to put the time and the effort into, prepping it, into making sure everything is well executed and putting the right people in the seats of those cars. Because if it's if you're in a fight scene and you slip a punch, you're going to punch someone in the face. Like, you might break a nose, you might hurt somebody. But if that car goes careening off into craft service, like, it's going to be bad. So to me, I always put a lot of thought into that.
Well, it was like that. Did you see the video of the Charger, the whatever car it was that had the Charger plates on it? It wasn't a fucking Charger, but it Dukes of Hazzard, and it went through this blue fountain, and then it just hits the ground and goes completely out of control. Both sides are filled with people watching the car, and if it wasn't for those giant cement barriers,
you know
what I'm talking about, right? That car literally hit those and just went.
Well, and the dumbass cameraman that was like standing right in front of it,
and everybody was just cheering it on like it went perfect.
And the dumbass who let the cameraman stand there.
Wow! Yeah. And it was so dangerous on so many levels.
I mean, that's some local stunt show. That's not like a professional.
Yeah, definitely.
thing,
I was going to say that.
But holy
that was definitely
shit.
like a county fair kind of. And there's really good live show drivers. We know some that have done, like the Joey Chitwood show and that kind of stuff. Chris Morena is a really good guy.
Chris is amazing, dude. His videos, his stuff is insane.
But
it's such a great guy.
You could tell
too.
that was not super well thought because there were people way too close to where that car landed, and things could have gone really wrong.
But speaking of training and stuff, how did you let's go back into your background? Like, how did you, what brought you to Drivers East? And then maybe give a little plug to Drivers East, which Paul has to do it still. I've done it. I had so much fun at Drivers East, but,
well, I was going to do mine and then I had to, my transmission went on my car. So my $3,500 went for that last year. And then this year I just it's been slow. I haven't been able to get that 3,500 back.
No,
Paul,
but how did you end up at Drivers East? And, that whole, what was that? I mean, you said you got there. It was almost like what, 2005, 2006?
Yeah. So my whole story, growing up, when I was about 3 years old, my parents bought me my first 3-wheeler, right? First gas power. Before that, I had Power Wheels and the little ones that you just paddle with your feet.
The one with the wheel in the front and the two in the back. Back in the day when they were everywhere. So what were they?
So
ATVs?
ATC 70, right?
ATC.
Yep. And then soon after that, they got me an LT80 quad, and then I had a Z50, dirt bike, and I was all about anything with a motor and wheels. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, my mom saw me flipping on the couches. She got me involved in gymnastics. So soon they were like, "Hey, he should be on our team, and we'd like to see if he wants to compete and stuff." So before you knew it, I was competing. My parents wouldn't let me race motocross until later, when I was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and my parents built a house. And then 4 houses down from me, another house got built, and a guy named Roy Farfel moved in. So this is how far back myself and Roy Farfel go. My parents and Roy Farfel went to the same high school. They weren't in the same class, but my dad knew who he was because he was 2 years older than him, and he was on the gymnastics team, and all the girls loved him, and that kind of stuff. So he moves in 4 houses down the street from us, and we become fast friends. We start riding dirt bikes together, playing roller hockey together, you name it. Roy was a gymnast. I am a gymnast. Roy rides dirt bikes. I ride dirt bikes. We just fast friends.
Yeah.
So I get introduced a little bit to the stunt business at that point. I kind of get this is what Roy does for a living. Oh, this is super cool. When I'm 10 years old, he invites my dad and I on an industrial set. Hey, they want me to ride my dirt bike through the office building and crash through a brick wall for growth. I'm like, this is awesome. He gets paid to ride his motorcycle. I'm 10 years old and this guy's making money to ride a dirt bike. I'm like, this is what this would be awesome to do. This is what I want to do.
And crash it.
And crash it. So I'm probably 11 or 12 at the time. Jay Lynch is at Roy's house. I meet Jay Lynch. First time, and we become friends because we ride dirt bikes together. Right. And then I, go through high school. I wrestled in high school. I loved that sport. That's, of all the things I've done, I look back, I'm like, man, that was such a great sport.
Oh, dude, you got to come work out with us sometime.
Right.
You definitely have to come by.
I don't know. It's been a long time. But I go to college and, I do a semester at college and then I go race, or I wasn't supposed to race, but I went down to Florida with my friend Jay and his grandfather Don, and I end up snapping my femur in half. So I'm like, I don't go back to college. I have 4 months to think about what I want to do with my life. I'm like, I still don't know. So I go to community.
How would you snap your femur?
So, I mean, it was the last lap. I got a bad start. I was working my way through the pack. I false neutraled, I think, on the face of a double or something. I nosed into it. I got launched from the bike. I'm running back to my bike, and another bike comes over the jump and puts his front wheel right into my leg.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I did not go back to college. I spent 2 months. You're pretty much laid up 2 months, and then you can be a little bit mobile after that. So I spent about 4 months thinking about what I wanted to do. I still didn't know. I was working at a moving company that some motocross friends owned, and Roy hit me up one day. He's like, "Hey, I got to move some stuff from my house, to my new house. You mind giving me a hand?" I'm like, "No, I'll just borrow a truck, and you just, pay my buddy whatever he wants." They're like, "All right, cool." So I'm moving a piano for Roy, an upright piano, into his house. I have it vertically straight up and down because he's got a stairwell when you come in the door. And then it turns and I put it where it needs to go. And Roy's like, "Hey, are you still going to school?" Or he's like, and I'm like, no, I stopped. There wasn't really anything I wanted to do. I was like, but if there's something I could help you out with, let me know. And he's like, yeah, we'll see if there's something that comes up. So then Roy started calling me like, hey, I need help with this, moving this equipment around, or help with this rehearsal, or help with this, help with that, blah, blah, blah. And one day I got a call, hey, we need to double a kid on a film who falls down a hill, and you're about the right size and the right look. And I was 20, but I looked like I was 14. So that was my first job, and it was for Manny Severio.
There you go.
Roy covered Manny on the show, and I fell down the hill, and I did like a couple little falls, and it's really cool. It's like I pulled in the parking lot, and as soon as I got there, I'm like, this is where I'm kind of supposed to be. It's like an overwhelming feeling. We had a time in my life where I didn't really know what I was supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So I pull in, do a couple small falls, and then by like take 3, Roy's like, you can send it this time. So I was like, all right, cool. So I sent it down the hill. And they all cut, and everyone starts cheering. The rain towers are going. It's like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Nice.
So Roy gave me a quick, this is how the business works. If you have some tools that you could be successful. If you want to be successful, here's what you do. I'm like, all right, cool. That was 2005. So I'm coming up on 20 years in the stunt business.
20 years.
Next month.
That's awesome.
And then...
And you still look like you're 14.
I don't know if I could play 14. But in 2006, in the spring, I got a call. Hey, we need one more person for Drivers East. Do you want to take the class? So I somehow scrounged up the money. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And it was me, Elliot Santiago, Chris Gumbos, and Eric Martin. You never forget who you took the class with. So I took the class and I passed the test. I was like, yeah, this is great. And then later that year, I don't know if it was in the summer or in the fall, Chris Place had been helping out and Tom Place had been helping out as the guys that were setting up the cones and taking them down, but they were starting to get a lot busier. So they're like, hey, do you want to come help us out this time because Chris isn't available? I'm like, sure. And I became the grunt. I started out just doing grunt work and helping out moving cones and fixing cars and changing tires. And at that point in time, it was Roy, Mike, and me. And we had probably 10 to 12 cars. And it was like, fix what you could, like make it work, make it happen. And the only time that I was, for me, I'm like, I'm just here for wheel time, but yeah, I'll do whatever I got to do. Like, so I ate my lunch as fast as I possibly could. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go in the car and do some drills. And then I was like, I parked every car at the end of the night because I would get to do one skill and then I'd park the car. I do one skill and then I park the car. I do one skill and then I park the car. So Roy inviting me to Drivers East and then Mike not kicking me out was the reason that I was there, and it was awesome. And then I think about 2007 is when Greg Harvey took the class, and he joined us then. And then Robbie Smith and Bob Harvey started, I want to say 2008, 2009, and we've just kind of evolved and grown organically. And we have just a phenomenal group of people, good people, good team, and just really a lot of talent that it's fun to be around.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll definitely drop the website in the
Please
show
do.
notes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's I had a blast there. It was fun.
I gotta get it back together. And
I mean, the ice. Robbie ran it the days that I was there, but I think you stopped in one day, but you weren't really around.
Was it in the last 3 years where I've been quite busy?
Probably. It was post COVID, yeah. So it was like within the last. I mean, it was definitely more than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably somewhere in that neighborhood. But what I loved about it, it was just so fun and so practical to actual things that happen. It was like very, very cool. It was like very nuts and bolts. Like this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. But they made it so much fun. Like the joking around and the camaraderie on the walkies and stuff. It was just really a lot of humor while you're learning. So it was a good time.
We try to run it loose but tight. You know what I mean? So we try to make it a fun learning environment, but also a safe one. We give people a ton of wheel time. Like it's not about, we'll show it once or twice, maybe 3 times if we have to, but after that, it's all about you in the car, dialing it in, building the muscle memory, and then, understanding why the car is reacting the way it is. And then once a driver can understand, okay, I understood what I did wrong, and then build it in. Like if I feel the car doing that, I got to do the other thing. So that's always the goal for us, is to, you know, create a fun learning environment, and give you a ton of wheel time. And we've, you know, I've been to a bunch of different driving schools and racing schools, and anytime you're having fun learning, you're going to learn better than if you're being drilled, or especially if, you know, I always give a speech at the beginning of class. There's two types of people that come here: people that laugh about when they hit cones, and people that are tough and hard on themselves and get in their head and spiral out of control. If you just laugh about it and try to understand what you did, and you go back to one and be like, I'm going to correct it, I'm not going to do that again, you're going to have so much more fun and take so much more away from these 2 days than if you're in your head and beating yourself up and just getting down on yourself, because it's going to spiral and you're just going to, you know, you're not going to get as much out of it as you could.
He just explained to me perfectly why I laugh when you punch me in the face in the spar.
It's not why I laugh, though.
Come on, Paul, block. Wax on.
That's it. Dude, that was great. That was a great way to end. I mean, basically, in the end, this is everything we do. You should be having fun. It's like Jerry Hughes used to say, right? Just go have fun.
I was so nervous when I was driving, you know, when I had to do my first little driving thing. I was no, I'm not gonna lie, I was standing by the passenger door. I was not been like, I'm gonna fucking drive because I know how to drive. I was like, I'm nervous. And then finally the PA was like, looked at the other guy and he's like, yeah, you're definitely in the passenger seat. And I was like, all right, it's time to fucking just get over it and get in the, you know. But what's great is I was so comfortable after the first run, because I was the one who was going in and out and moving and following the lead car. I felt so comfortable, and I was like, this is better than being in traffic. This is better than every driving you could be in, because you actually kind of know what's going on and you get to pay attention. So it's almost like when something goes wrong, you're kind of already a little bit of ahead of the game. So you feel comfortable.
Yeah. And if you,
that make sense?
If you trust the people that you're around as well, that helps a lot, because you know that they can make up for maybe a mistake here or a mistake there. But, you know, anytime I talk to someone about motorcycle crashes, especially, they're like, oh my God, bike crash, that's gnarly. I'm like, I know it's going to happen. Like, I'm prepared for it to happen. As in opposed to in real life, a car just pulls out in front of you. You're like, you better react super quick. I already know that car's pulling out, or that car, you know, or that I have to lay the bike down here, or I have to, you know, do what I have to do. So it's premeditated, and it's a little different when it's premeditated than when it's,
because you have adjustment time in a weird way. You really do have that adjustment time. Your brain is ready to make those adjustments without reacting first. It just goes right to the switch.
And it's like anything else with motorsports in general. The more seat time you have, Paul, the more comfortable you're going to be in the seat. You know, whether it's in a car, on a motorcycle, in a boat, it's all about seat time, and just building a comfort level.
I need more because I really liked it.
Come on down.
There you go.
We got classes in the fall.
Do it.
In the winter.
For sure.
Cool. All right, dude. This was awesome. Thank you so much. Super killer episode. Everybody make sure to check out Elsbeth.
Season
including
3.
Us.
There's always a murder.
There's always a murder. Somebody's going to die.
Yeah.
There's always a murder. And Kevin's been working on it, so there's always a stunt.
I mean,
there you go.
Hopefully always a stunt, we'll say.
Yeah, totally. All right, man. Thank you
guys
so much.
very much.
Thanks, Kevin.
Film Fights with Friends is produced by Stephen Kepfer, Paul Veracci, Press Record Studios, and Breakfall Studios. This episode was engineered by Matthew Kaplowitz. This show is powered by our supporters at Patreon and is a registered trademark of Film Fights with Friends, LLC. Original theme by Aru Luster.